So, I know that I kind of post book content, but I've always wanted to get into like filming sim stuff. And there's only 29 of you. So like I'm not I'm kind of a very eclectic person who has shifting and changing tastes all the time, and the only consistent thing about me is that I am inconsistent. So we should not be shocked about this sudden foray into the gaming sphere. I actually have a minor in game design, and something that has always bugged me about The Sims is its lack of like quality game design that kind of keeps someone like me stimulated. I kind of love having quests. And you might say, what about the scenarios? And here's the thing. The scenarios are fun. I've played a couple of them. Honestly, I should play through all of them. But there's only like 7. Well, there's like 10. Okay, Aaron also can't count. So, all of this is to say that I have created my own little game mode. I'm basically calling this mode event mode, and here's how it works. And I'm going to go over this as fast as possible. So, each event card comes with requirements to play. If you do not have the requirements for the event, such as a teenage child, you must play until you have the requirements to make it playable. You can pull your event card before or after choosing which household you're playing as. Choosing before gives you more control to make sure you have the conditions to play the event, while choosing after adds a bit of challenge to meet the requirements. Every time you've completed an event, you must change households. You can create new Sims and place them in a house, or you can play in already a pre-established house. This game mode is supposed to encourage you to play with townies, so don't feel like you need to make new Sims every time. And also, you will be revisiting these households. It's not like a one and done. You're always kind of going to be cycling back. Some events are short and replayable, and if you pull a replayable event, it'll notate that it's replayable. Instead of moving on to the next household, you pull a new event card. If you pull a second replayable event, you can decide to move on after completing it, or continue drawing new events until you get a non-replayable event card. Some events will tell you to draw another event card before moving on to your next household. You must play 4 different households before you can revisit a previous household. And it might help to create a list of all the households you want to play in what order, adding in new households as they become relevant. So basically, like, if we're just thinking of the townies, like, if you want to do, like, the BFF house, then the Goths, then the land grabs, you can't do the BFF until you do one more. Then you can go back to BFF. So if you want to play this game completely just cycling through 4 households, in theory, you can. There are some events that ask you to create a household because they have specific conditions, but honestly, like, you can just, like, have children and create the conditions that way. I don't really care. The number one, like, rule about this mode is that because it's not built into the game, if part of it is stupid and you hate it, you don't have to do it. I'm not gonna care. Some events might require you to find a specific household, such as finding a sim with an arch enemy. A lot of my events is make enemies, because, like, in Sims, some people, and I'm not going to name names, it's me, have a hard time being mean. And so a lot of my events are to create or cause tension. So there's a lot of arch enemies. But so for some households, you might be needing to find a specific sim. There are some that it's like create a sim with kleptomania. You could also, in theory, just go find a sim with kleptomania and do that. So when it is requiring something like that, you can go back to a household regardless of how far you've played them. So if this household you just played had a kleptomaniac, you move into your next household, you get an event card, and you need a kleptomaniac, you can go back even though it hasn't been 4 houses. Any quality of life, mods, cheats you need to make The Sims 4 playable for you is allowed. There are just some aspects of The Sims that fill players with dread, and the game mode is meant to be fun. So if you're stuck between cheat and have fun and don't cheat and be miserable, please cheat and have fun. I cheat and have fun. Anytime I do, like, events or go out, I fill everybody's needs. Anytime I do college way differently. Like, I don't have need decay on when a character is in college. I don't have friendship decay either, because that was the thing that had me stop playing The Sims, was friendship decay. I would always like pick loners and always do that because it was so much for me that I just didn't want to play the game anymore. And then when I realized you could download a mod and shut off friendship decay, suddenly this game became absolutely playable to me. So I'm calling these event cards, but I don't have a physical deck. They're actually numbers. So you're actually like rolling a number. You can go online and be like, find a number generator between 1 and 50. You can easily find that. So if you roll the same number for the events twice, you round to the nearest event. So for example, if you just played 25 and you roll and you get 25 again, you would go to 26. You wouldn't do this for replayable events, obviously. Replayable events are meant to be replayable. And you know, in theory, if you like an event so much that you want to keep it in rotation, you can. Again, have fun. Like, play it the way that makes sense to you. But here's the thing. I created 50 events and then I just stopped. I didn't run out of ideas at 50. I just stopped trying to create them at 50 so I could actually like start making videos about this. I plan to keep on going because like I can create as many events as I have ideas. And honestly, for the majority of these events, I was like taking inspirations of just things that were around me, and then I was just looking at the aspirations and making events based on some aspirations for some inspiration. Like, I was just having fun. So, like, I'm gonna create more events, right? Like I said, right now there are 50. Just what I created in like 2 days. So, moving on to the other rules. Replayable event cards are short and they're notated with replayable. Replayables are like remodel a house, give your sim a new style, change your job. I think that's like I think change your career is the only one that's like so mundane. Like I don't have a baby in there because those are just like wants and needs. So another thing, when creating new sims, one trait must be a negative trait. Now I don't have growing together, and I know that growing together gives you access to way more traits, which I'm kind of jealous of, but I'm also broke. So, you know, if you have growing together, you have a little bit more leeway into traits, but I recommend in this mode giving each sim a negative trait. Just because in like the basics of storytelling, just like having a negative trait can help naturally create tension, and that makes the game more dynamic. So this is to sort of encourage you to use some of those traits that you might not necessarily use, because we're all secretly min-maxers when it comes to The Sims. Although I kind of love my favorite negative trait is I think it's materialistic. I think materialistic is so fun to play with. Moving on. Some building events do not require a household. Some events are like build a graveyard, create a farmer's market. You don't technically need a household to play those events. Aging does not need to be on for the world, but you can have it on for the household if you want. Honestly, just decide the aging rules based on how you have fun. Everyone gets a different fun about it. Maybe it would be more fun if everybody is aging and having children, and then there's some more dynamics to it. I don't know. I just work here. These event cards are all based on packs I own, so if you don't own these packs, then obviously you can skip it or reimagine it to fit within what packs you do have. And also, obviously, I won't be making any event cards based on packs I don't own, because I don't own them, so I don't know their content enough to be able to make packs with them, because again, I'm broke. So I have kind of the kinds of events. And so here's basically I don't know if this is a definitive list, because again, this has not been play tested. I'm play testing it right now, and we're gonna figure out what works and what doesn't work together. So these are sort of the events, the types of events that you'll encounter on this list. There's remodels, which is replayable events where you remodel an area of your Sim's current homes. Oh, I definitely did say that there's a list of conditionals. That's fine. I'll do those later. Right now, just remodel as you see fit, restyle as you see fit. Then there's restyles, which is just giving your Sims new outfits. New lot buildings. This doesn't require a new household. You'll be tasked in building a new building. Create a new family. Some game events require you to create a whole new family to play. Social encounters. These are events that dictate different relationships with your playable houses. Gameplay encounters, these are events that have you interact with gameplay mechanics. And aspirational events. Some events are to complete certain aspirations within a storytelling context. I know that some of them are like, pick this aspiration, and I don't necessarily say like complete the aspiration, because like honestly, for some of them, maybe you don't complete it. Maybe you do. It's kind of up to you. If I think you need to complete it for the event, then I definitely put it in there, because there's the Pied Piper one where you kind of have to, and then there's the growing family one where the event ends when you've reached the aspiration. Sometimes I say to have rivalry, and that's like negative friendship points. Friendship reserve first, do positive friendship points. I think I use arch enemy and enemy indiscriminately. That's when like a sim declares someone's your enemy. And by drawing a card or an event, you're actually rolling a randomly generated number. You can just go into your search bar and be like, you know, a 1d50. I need to roll between numbers 1 and 50, and a website will pop up and you'll be able to do that. So the point of this gameplay mode is to make the Sims a little bit more fast-paced, to keep the gameplay loops from growing stale, and at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. If you really want to stay in one household and do every event in a single household, all the power to you. Some events are kind of dark. I would never consider myself a family-friendly show, so I have trigger warnings for as best I can. Skip whichever ones are upsetting you, and you might be wondering, what kind of things are in there? I know that there's, weaponized incompetence, there's alcoholism, there's parent favoritism, some fun things. For the first event, you can choose if you would like to roll the number or if you would like to select the number, honestly, because you might be like, oh, this one's like really jumping out to me and I want to make that. And it's like, yeah, let's do that. Okay? Okay.